Want to watch football without the restrictions of blackouts or cable? Check out expressvpn.com to help you get access to all the live games. Sign up today using the link in the description to get 3 free months. Kia ora, Bolt fam. It's the director. Chargers fans, I think there's been one running theme of the 2022 offseason. If you are a Chargers fan, that's going to be hype. Hype and excitement. I'm excited. You guys are excited. There are people that aren't even Chargers fans that are excited about the potential of this team in 2022. But why is that? What is the real underlying reason as to why we are all so stoked to see how this team comes together and performs? Well, I think, putting it bluntly, Chargers got a really good shot at making the Super Bowl this season. I know some people don't like that, knock on wood, whatever. Guys, there are several reasons to be hyped for the potential domination of the Bolts, and I wanted to highlight why this year is so important, so exciting, and carries the best potential for us to realistically win a Super Bowl. When it comes to the odds, these are the Chargers' best odds in a very, very long time. So today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys, I think, around 10 reasons why I'm beyond excited for the season, aspects about the team that will be must-watch football in 2022. So it's basically like talking about different topics as to what to watch and look for and be excited about with the 2022 Chargers. With these reasons, I'll ultimately, in theory, helping the Chargers make their first Super Bowl appearance since the early 90s. So it should be a really good one today, guys. Question in the comments, like we always do. Name one thing about the Chargers that you're most excited about to see in 2022. Let me know in the comment section below, because there's a lot. We're going to go over quite a few of them in today's video. Before we do get started, guys, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this Chargers content. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this one. Lights, camera, action. Why the Chargers are indeed Super Bowl contenders in 2022. You know what's kind of funny? The first title that I wrote out for this video, it was going to be called My Top 10 Reasons to Be Hyped for the 2022 Chargers, which, yes, solid title, thank you. But when I got done doing all my research and putting together my notes, I kind of took a wide picture look at it, a broader look at it, and I was like, these are all really, really legitimate reasons for the Chargers to not only make the postseason, but make a very good run at the Super Bowl as well. So we're going to go ahead and run with it, man. I got 10 reasons listed, 1 through 10. I think 10 in this instance is the highest, number one reason why I'm super excited. But I did want to throw in there an honorable mention in terms of things to watch for the Chargers here this year in Josh Palmer's breakout potential in 2022, as well as Eckler's revenge. Now, among the players most likely to break out this year is Josh Palmer, okay? And I do think a lot of people saw that potential last season in some of the big plays he did come down with. This dude looked absolutely clutch. And as a matter of fact, I think I mentioned this at some point during the season too, is that Palmer to me almost looks like a little bit of a mix of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams a little bit. Of course, those two players being, elite superstars, what have you. But Palmer to me looks very, very promising in terms of what he can offer the team as he progresses in his NFL career. He's got some of the clutch, contested catchability of a Mike Williams, while also very smooth routes of a Keenan Allen. The one thing holding this guy back when he was drafted was indeed his speed, but this team really does know how to utilize a player like that because of their exposure to Keenan Allen over the course of so many seasons. Now, this season, Josh Palmer is going to be sharing responsibilities at wide receiver 3 with a Jalen Guyton. And again, this is a very healthy mix. Jalen Guyton, more of your burner, your over-the-top guy. He's going to provide the speed. And Josh Palmer definitely going to be more of your chain mover, contested catch. Overall, very well-balanced wide receiver option. And together, they should have a very solid season. Now, in the case of Austin Eckler, we're going to show right here, man. Austin Eckler, highly underrated, underappreciated superstar in the NFL. Eckler was once again snubbed from the Pro Bowl in 2021. And honestly, out of all the players that could have been snubbed, this is perhaps one of the most shocking, because this was coming despite a 20 touchdown season and winning fantasy championships for so many people. He was absolutely electric out there. Eckler will get some help this season too. And I think he's going to prove once and for all that he is a superstar elite running back in the NFL. He's going to get some help in terms of backup running backs, of which he's been begging for help and people to step up for very many seasons now. Of course, we got the brand new rookie and a couple other guys to mention that should help in those aspects. And this will help Austin Eckler in terms of gaining more quality touches. But most importantly, I foresee more targets for Austin Eckler. Get him more involved in the passing game, and I think it'll make the Chargers offense that much more dangerous while also bringing in a new appreciation for an Austin Eckler. So with that, let's get into my top 10, okay? Maybe I should have renumbered these. I'm just going to go ahead and say I listed this one 1. It's not the number 1 reason I'm excited, so we're going to say this one's 10, okay? Just bear with me. We're going to get some of these numbers wrong. At number 10, going all the way up to number 1, reason to be excited for this season is definitely going to be the rookies. First off, taking a look here at Zion Johnson. An obvious boost to this team, right? The Chargers offensive line, if you've been a fan for more than, just a few seasons now, you'll understand that the Chargers offensive line has been a huge weakness for very, very many years, and it hasn't been until the Brandon Staley era that we've seen any sort of improvement on it. Not only improvement, but we've seen a dramatic shift in strength. This offensive line is now one of the strengths of this team, which is wild to think about if you've been a Chargers fan as long as I have. I'm sure there's a lot of guys here that have been Chargers fans even longer than I have. It's definitely not been a strength of this team previous. Zion Johnson's going to provide a lot of stability on the right side of that line and really help shape this Chargers running offense. Specifically, I would say their power run in a new direction that should offer more contributions in the 2022 season. Now, beyond that, we do have other guys like Isaiah Spiller. We did mention in the Austin Eckler segment there. Him paired with his amazing offensive line is going to look amazing. And he's one of those guys that I'm very, anticipatory of watching this season because of the value he brings at RB2. But not just that, in the kind of different style of running that he's going to bring to the Chargers offense. Austin Eckler very much so zone runs, outside runs, try to get him in space. Isaiah Spiller, you can count on in a pinch between the tackles, earning those tough yards to help Chargers in better, third and short situations, 4th and goal situations. Chargers love going for it in 4th downs. That's going to add another, option to the Chargers belt if they do want to pursue those, and that's going to be highly, highly valuable. And on top of that, to kind of close things out, we do have other guys like JT Woods, et cetera, et cetera. They will be playing a role this season. I think among the defensive players, JT Woods is certainly going to be the one that sticks out because of the way the Chargers want to utilize a Darwin James. JT Woods manning over the top, his big play potential is definitely going to give Brandon Staley a little bit more freedom and flexibility to feel good about moving Darwin if JT is back there holding down the fort. Now at number 9 on my top 10 things to be excited about for the Chargers in 2022, we're going to call it the tight ends, the hidden secret weapon of the Chargers offensive roster. Now, we're going to see, Donald Parham here on the screen, but I did mention a couple videos back that Gerald Everett is my camp star breakout prediction for 2022. That just means that he's going to be pretty obvious in training camp as a guy that's like, man, this dude's going to have a heck of a season. And I do think Everett maybe has the highest upside that we've seen at tight end in quite a while. He's going to add another weapon I feel Herbert will favor. If you guys have seen, a bunch of tape on Herbert the past couple of seasons, what he was doing in the Pro Bowl, et cetera, it's very evident that he wants to get the tight end more involved, and Gerald Everett's going to be a heck of a weapon for him this season, bringing in the yards after catch ability, the physicality ability to it. He's going to be very exciting to watch. But the reason we're seeing Donald Parham here on the screen is let's not forget Donald Parham is also on the roster. A tall, fast target. He provides excellent red zone value. This duo of Donald Parham, who we've been watching the past couple of seasons now, he's been fantastic. It's very rare to find a player of his stature and speed combined into one. You combine that with the Gerald Everett, we should see an impressive 2022 season at the position. Of course, having speed and playability through the receiving game is highly valuable from the positions. A lot of players, or I should say a lot of teams, favor the tight ends that can block. The Chargers are very much so a passing offense, even down to our running back. Our featured running back is, if you were going to categorize Austin Eckler, a receiving back. It really does feel like the Chargers tight ends are going to be a weapon that's more utilized this season, thanks to the addition of Gerald Everett and maybe getting more involvement from a guy like Donald Parham at tight end too. We should be able to see a few more two tight end looks and sets in 2022, and I do think it's going to be very fun to see these guys go to work. I think Justin Herbert's really been itching to get the position more involved, and I think 2022 is the season to do so. Next up, what are we at now? I've already lost track, dudes. 10, 9. At number 8. At number 8 on this list, we have a much improved run defense. You guys see Sebastian Joseph Day on here, right? He's going to be a heck of an addition to the Chargers this season. Now, there's one reason, and pretty much the reason that stands above the rest, right? One reason we missed the postseason last year, it was our run D. It was bad. And if you guys need any sort of, like, I guess, symbolic game that carries what true consequences the Chargers run defense were, hampering the Chargers with all season long, it was the last game of the season versus the Vegas Raiders, in which our run defense could ultimately be the kind of, reasoning to why the Chargers did not make it into the postseason. Big dramatic reason, but there were so many other reasons in between. Now, much like the state of our offensive line, Brandon Staley made it a point to focus on rebuilding the defensive line here in 2022. And this is a really big deal, guys, because if we went and did all the other things that we did, Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, Everett, offensive line, all that stuff, if we did all that and didn't address the defensive line, I'm not quite sure any of it would have mattered. Because having a weakness like that that's so easy to exploit, so obvious to our opponents, is really going to hold a team back. And the Chargers addressing it this early with these quality of players is very promising to what they can do in 2022. And it looks much improved, right? Sebastian Joseph Day, Austin Johnson, among other excellent additions. You got Christian Covington. I hope that Braden Fayoko comes back. Morgan Fox. We got some options out there, some quality options to help improve this run D. And this will help the Chargers better manage games and challenge their opponents to throw. And trust me, as we make our way down this list, we want our opponents to throw. It's going to be great, guys. If the Bolts can improve to even, let's say, above average in the run defense category, this defense will be heavily positioned to generate more big plays and turnovers. So that's going to be a very fun thing to watch. The Chargers run defense getting a huge shot in the arm in terms of slowing down opposing running attacks. Now, next up here, we've got J.C. Jackson and the pick parade. One of the biggest additions this offseason. One that I honestly wasn't sure if it was going to happen. After getting Khalil Mack and signing a whole bunch of other dudes, I wasn't quite sure that the Chargers would be able to pull off a J.C. Jackson to the Chargers. And lo and behold, we put all our chips on the table, man. We are going all in. JC is here to stay for the remainder of how many, 3 or 4 seasons? And it's a big, big signing, man. The impact of JC Jackson on the 2022 Chargers roster cannot be in any way overstated. This is perhaps, one of the most important free agent signings in many, many years if you are a Chargers fan. Because J.C. Jackson, of course, as you guys know, renowned for his ability to generate picks, interceptions, hence the name or the nickname that he's been given, Mr. INT. He's absolutely astounding. And this is an aspect that's been missing from the Chargers defense for a very long time. I saw this on Twitter, early in the news of signing a J.C. Jackson. This is incredible, guys. Look at this. Interception total since 2020. J.C. Jackson, 17. All other Chargers DBs combined, also 17. What? What? J.C. has single-handedly generated the same amount of picks as the entire Chargers defense since 2020. This is a big, big deal. Adding another aspect to this defense that has been missing, it offers the Chargers opportunities to win more games. But beyond that, because that's already super exciting. Watching, a playmaker on defense always makes an entire football game exciting, right? You got Justin Herbert on offense. You got, pick potential on defense. Very, very exciting. But even beyond that, which is very impressive, his coverage ability is going to make, going to take Staley's defense and his blitz packages to the next level. Brandon Staley, I'm sure, has been itching to dig deep into his bag of tricks that he used with the Los Angeles Rams back when he was their defensive coordinator and utilize them with the Los Angeles Chargers. I just don't know if the Chargers had the personnel to pull that off before. And a big part of that formula is a shutdown corner, a true cornerback one. A true cornerback one, having one of those guys in the NFL is really hard to come by, and Staley does have one of the best. This is going to unlock some serious potential beyond just interceptions, some serious potential in what Brandon Staley can do. If you can trust that J.C. Jackson, let's say in man coverage, can really hold down his own versus a guy, let's say like Devontae Adams or DK Metcalf, then you can afford to utilize more of your resources towards getting to the quarterback, to more over the middle of the field coverage, et cetera, et cetera. His presence is going to have a trickling effect throughout the entire defensive backfield, and it's very exciting to see him come into play this year. So, JC, man, count your blessings, count your stars. He's going to be one of the funnest players on defense to watch this season. Now, getting into the middle of the list, number 5, my 5th biggest reason to be hyped for the season this year, 5th biggest reason why I believe the Chargers are indeed Super Bowl contenders, is going to be Darwin James leading a top defense. Okay? Darwin James is a big deal to this team. Bigger than what even looks like on the surface. And on the surface, he already looks dang impressive. But honestly, guys, it feels like back in 2017 when we drafted Darwin James, we got so lucky drafting him, you know, in the mid to late round, in the first round. I feel like it's all been leading up to this. Because the 2022 Chargers defense is one of the best that I have seen in my lifetime. And that is saying something. We've had some pretty great, amazing defensive players over the years. But this unit altogether is something special. But a huge part of finding success with a big turnover of superstars like this, adding so many new fresh faces that haven't played with the Chargers before, a big part of finding success with that is generating chemistry, getting on the same page, understanding the system. This unit is going to need time to gel, to get on the same page, understand the scheme, Brandon Staley, what he wants to accomplish. And I feel that Brandon Staley did his part in trying to do this by signing almost exclusively players and stars that have fallen under the Vic Fangio tree. All these signings understand the scheme because they have played in it. They have been coached by Brandon Staley. The familiarity is going to help massage some of those awkward weeks and years where it takes new people time to get to know the scheme, the system. Brandon Staley bypassed a lot of that by signing mainly people that understand the Vic Fangio system. That's big, and this gives the players a huge head start. But the biggest reason, in my opinion, is going to be Darwin James. His leadership is unmatched, and it is so hard to find players with this quality in the NFL. Darwin's a star, and he's maybe the best player on our defense, which is really saying something this year. But his ability to lead these men into battle and create a winning mentality in our players is something that should also be very highly valued. Darwin James' ability to get his team, his players on the same page in this system that they're already familiar with is going to give the Chargers a head start for them to hit the ground running in 2022. And what that's going to do this season is give us that early domination, the momentum that we need on defense to carry enough wins in a brutal division to get us into the postseason. Once we're there, I think it's going to be definitely a huge challenge for any team to overcome this defense loaded with superstars. So Darwin James, beyond his big playability, his leadership is so valuable to this team, and it's going to be something to watch. The quarterback on defense, Darwin is a huge, huge value and asset to this team. I didn't write this down, but Chargers, get that extension done immediately. Like yesterday. I understand they're probably waiting for whatever reason. Darwin needs to be on this team for as long as he's playing in the NFL. Now, moving on here to number 4, the 4th biggest reason I'm super stoked for the 2022 season of potential Super Bowl contention. It's going to be Justin Herbert. Kind of crazy, right? Number 4, Director? Is your 4th thing? Well, let me explain. Okay, first let's explain Justin Herbert, the player, and why I'm anticipating. I think it's super obvious to everybody, right? Justin Herbert's ascension to MVP status. Herbert has been nothing short of astonishing since joining the Bolts in 2020. None of us expected a future Hall of Fame performance right out of the gates. I think a lot of us hoped that he would develop into what we're seeing now, but I'm astonished to see it happen so soon. He's done it. I mean, like, he's done it, and he's proved all the doubters wrong, and he's done very consistently. What's more impressive is that the pace that he's on is what I'm trying to get at. His first year was not a fluke. A lot of people were saying, well, you know, the pandemic year, things were different, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't. He went back, and he came back in 2021, and he proved all the doubters wrong again. And what's crazy is that he's getting even better. Herbert is being set up for one of the greatest third seasons in the history of quarterbacks in the NFL of all time. Finally, he has a defense that can keep games manageable for him. And I think this is a big missing aspect to the Chargers last year. If Herbert had tallied 2 or 3 more wins under his belt last year, I think there's a legitimate shot we would have been looking at the 2021 MVP. But because the Chargers defense, and I'm going to say the defense was the weakest aspect of the team last year, because the defense couldn't keep up and ultimately led to a couple extra losses in that column, I feel like Justin Herbert did get overlooked. Not this time. Not this time. He's finally got that defense. And he's been, he's also been surrounded by a heck of a unit of offensive weapons as well, including a smashing good offensive lineman. This is something we hoped and prayed for Phillip Rivers for years. And Herbert not only has the talent around him on offense, but within him as well. There's a lot of quarterbacks that look really good because the roster around him is so amazing. It goes beyond that with Justin Herbert. I've never seen a quarterback with so many ridiculously elite traits, all packed in one. The arm, the speed, the size, the talent, the vision, the decision-making, it's all there. And with his arm, speed, intelligence, and leadership on top of that, he gives this team their best odds at a championship in decades. And this will propel him into MVP conversations as seasons end. Mark my words. Justin Herbert is probably going to have another career-breaking, eye-popping season in 2022. Now, next up, Director, what could you possibly be more excited about than Justin Herbert in the Chargers in 2022? Well, I think a lot of you guys could probably guess it, right? It's going to be this duo right here, the duo of Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. And don't get me wrong, Justin Herbert, obviously, he's in the top 5 for me, right? Obviously going to be incredible to watch. But it's very rare something like this happens on defense, hence why I'm a little bit more psyched to see how it unfolds. The duo of Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. This is without a doubt my highest anticipated, or one of my highest anticipated things to watch for the Chargers this season. Joey Bosa, when he was first drafted, he left an early impression on me. He kind of reminded me of like Jared Allen in a lot of ways. You guys remember Jared Allen, the Bears, the Vikings? That dude, I was a fan, right? I loved the way he played. He was nasty. He was all over. He had a great personality. He reminded me of Jared Allen a lot, this Joey Bosa guy. And I became a super fan very, very early. And it was kind of a complicated draft for me because I really wanted Jalen Ramsey in that draft, which would have been a pretty good pick too. But Joey Bosa, ultimately, the right call. And I definitely threw my flag down as a huge Joey Bosa fan. But as I got to watch Joey Bosa over the years, I began to really hate how few opportunities he had to get free. And you guys know what I'm talking about. This guy gets double, triple teamed almost every single game. Finally, Bosa, the 3rd overall pick in terms of draft capital, that's very rich. The $100 million superstar via his contract, this man can finally reach his full potential. And what a great utilization of resources, right? You're finally putting it out there in its full potential. To watch $100 million get double and triple teamed every single game was very disheartening. Finally, we're going to see this man get free. I've been waiting for years. And with more opportunities to take on more one-on-one situations, he's going to have a monster season. Of course, you see the 58 sacks to Khalil Mack's 76. Khalil Mack's been in the league a lot longer. That's very impressive. To see these guys together is even more impressive. And then there's Khalil Mack. That's even before we talk about Khalil Mack. Holy mackerel. I was literally gobsmacked when I heard the news that Khalil Mack was acquired by the Chargers. What a gutsy move. We don't see trades like this very often. Mack is a legend in this game. And just when people were ready to write him off due to one injury in his season that ended it, right? He signs with a team that can really help remind the league why he's a superstar. People, he's not going to stay healthy, this and that. He's only really had one injury that held him out, and that was last year. Other than that, he's been very healthy throughout his career. Mack, to me, who is still on an insane level, is going to get his with the Bolts too, man. This is going to lead to one of the most chaotic pass rushing seasons that we've ever seen. And nothing quite puts a smile on my face like seeing Mahomes, Carr, and now Russell Wilson in the dirt. Each of these guys, extremely talented. Both of them together, you don't see stuff like this very often. Hence why number 3 on my list of things to get super excited about. Maybe 4. We lost track again, guys. Let's just move on to the next one. Built to win. A defense that can keep up. We talked about this a little bit with the Justin Herbert segment. Now we'll start to see all some of these aspects come together. These signings, right? The names, the superstars, the talent. It all starts to make sense. This defense was definitely the biggest emphasis this offseason, and for good reason. The Bolts had a top 5 offense last year. That has deep playoff potential on its own. That offense, super, super good. But you pair it with a top 10 defense, which I'm thinking a lot of people are thinking this year with the Chargers, maybe even higher. That's where the magic happens. There are very many games that the Chargers have lost by just one score over the last, 5-10 years? I would say like a decade. So many games where it's one score difference. This defense is ready to change that. And this is so insanely important to changing our luck. I know a lot of Chargers fans, myself included, it's hard not to believe that we have some of the crappiest luck in the NFL when it comes to a lot of things, but mostly when it comes to being let down when your hopes are the highest in any given game. A lot of people think that about the Chargers. We find spectacular ways to lose. And a lot of that can be chalked up to luck, but I also think a team and a person and an entity, whatever, is capable of changing their own luck. And I feel like that's kind of what the formula is being equated to here. They're trying to change their luck in that stat, in that column, generate more wins. Not to mention how finely tuned this unit has been assembled to generate more turnovers, right? Bosa and Mack, the force fumble machines. JC, Darwin, Asante Samuel Jr., the pick artists, it's all coming together. And with Herbert leading the charge on offense, a top 5 offense last season, this defense is going to be given the opportunity to really help us put away games early. And this formula equates to one thing: wins. And there is nothing more important in the NFL than wins. And this is really going to help shape the Chargers' destiny in terms of making a Super Bowl this year. It's all coming together. What's that going to lead to? Well, the second to last thing on this list, I won't even use numbers anymore, overtaking the AFC West. This is the first step to really living up to our potential, winning the division. And it's a huge test in a year that everyone has loaded up both barrels, ready, locked and loaded. It's crazy out here in the West, dudes. Crazy. But that only creates a better environment to shape world champions. The biggest thing the Chargers have over the division rivals this season is our defense. Okay? And that's going to be a big edge. As the old saying goes, defense wins championships. No other defense in the AFC West can come toe-to-toe with the Chargers defense. And if the Chargers can really prove they are ready by not just defeating but stomping the Chiefs, let's say even in the early window, in the early game, I think it's week 2 this season, it could signal a new era in the AFC West. Now, we can't write off the Chiefs, nor can we ignore the talent in Vegas and Denver, but this is what this team was made to do. Take the West at all costs. And I think if we can do that, it's going to be very exciting to see every single AFC West matchup this season, every game in this division. And I think it's going to be very exciting to watch. It's going to make for heck of a good television, right? Heck of a good watch, heck of good TV for any NFL fan this season. Overtaking the West can be very exciting. And finally, the number one thing that I'm so hyped for this season that could help the Chargers making a Super Bowl is making a serious run at the Super Bowl. Kind of redundant, but let me explain. By making it out the other side of this division alive, right, and going into the playoffs, this team will be battle-tested for the biggest test of all, right? Getting to the Super Bowl, facing the best of the best in the postseason. You know, going up against what we're going to see, maybe the Bills, the Ravens. It's going to be tough out there. And I can't say I can identify any other division better suited to prepare a team for this in the NFL than the AFC West. We play 6 games this season that could arguably carry playoff quality potential. And this is in some way is a compliment to our division rivals. It's going to get dirty out there, man. Blood, sweat, and tears is what's going to take to get into the postseason if you are in the AFC West. But with such a dramatic transformation on the Chargers, the pieces we've assembled, the familiarity in the system, the star power, the building around Justin Herbert, I just cannot justify leaving the Chargers out of the Super Bowl conversation. But more than anything, it gives me hope. All of these aspects put together gives me hope, and not empty hope. Hope that means something. Because realistically, this team, of all my years as a Chargers fan, perhaps carries the best possible chances to make the Super Bowl. And I'm ready to throw down with them, man. I'm ready to put my, optimism on the line. I'm ready to put my hopes and aspirations on the line. This is the year. This is the team. It's the era of the Bolt. And I do believe Chargers fans have been waiting a long, long time to see any sort of team that resembles the potential of the 2022 Chargers. So these are my reasons, guys. I hope you did enjoy. Let me know what aspect of the 2022 Bolts that you're most excited to see in 2022. It should be a really fun time. But if anything, man, this is the year to really put down stakes, dude. Really declare this is the year you're a Chargers fan. Let the world know that this is your fandom. And you were here before the 2022 season when, honestly, I'm really hoping, I'm very optimistic that magic's about to happen. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. We'll see you next time. If you did like what you saw here, hit us up with a like and sub on your way out. We'll see you next time. And as always, bolt up and stay frosty. It's time, dudes. Throw down. Year of the Bolt has begun.